Good morning. My name is Estelani, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the CA Capacity Management Community Webcast conference call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. Mr. Lundy, you may begin your conference.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here. I'm Jim Lundy, President of the Capacity Management Global User Community. Today we have Mike Zhang with us, who's the Senior Principal Product Manager. Today he is going to go over the 2014 high-level roadmap for what's ahead for us this year. After that, he'll be covering what's coming in the March release, including a preview of what's already implemented right now. After that, we'll have a discussion on storage and capacity management from that perspective, and then we'll have a question and answers after that. And just as a reminder to everyone, please use the Q&A panel to ask any questions today. Thank you. I'll turn it over to Mike.
Thank you, Jim. Just a sound check. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, sound great.
All right. Again, my name is Mike Zhang, and if I can move the slides, let me see. Oh, this one. Okay, different deck, sorry. Early in the morning. Again, I will be covering for Jeremy, who is my product marketing counterpart, and John Ashby today. Today, we're going to go through a quick overview about the 2014, calendar year 2014 roadmap, and specifically focusing on the 2.4 release, which is coming around March timeframe. There's some exciting new features. Some of them already implemented. For those, I will give you a quick sneak peek about the implemented feature to get early validation feedback. So my goal is really to use the quality user community to get some early feedback about the new features. And last but not least, we're going to tap into the topic of storage capacity management. Really, it's a high-level discussion because some of the strategic initiatives we're going to focus on, as you can see, you will see in the 2014 roadmap, will be related to the storage aspect of the capacity management. So we'll have a quick discussion on that one, gather some feedback, then we'll open up for question and answers. So with that, I will get into the meat of the discussion today, which is the 4-box roadmap. As you can see, the yellow one is what we have delivered back in November-December timeframe, the CCC VPM 2.3 release. There's new features included there. I'm not going to enumerate. Basically, it's updated dashboard placement results summary view with enhanced workflow and Hyper-V support and some VMware DA updates. Moving forward, we are going to adopt what we call internally a milestone-based development lifecycle. It means for every quarter, we'll have a chance to release some new features. So it doesn't mean we'll commit to release every quarter, but at least from a roadmap perspective, that trains there. So what we know so far is for the first milestone, which is the first quarter of calendar year 15, we will have a release. So that is the March release I alluded to in the beginning. So that's the box, the first box on the second line, the calendar year 15 M1 release. So in that release, some of the key features I'm not going to call out here. We'll get into detail in the next slide. But the theme is really to enhance the usability of the CCC. A lot of the focus has been put into the chart navigation, and more importantly, give you the ability to see the trending on the CCC and the continuous performance enhancement, etc. Moving to the second milestone, which is around June timeframe, we'll introduce what we call the role-based access control feature. I know several large customers, existing customers, are asking for that. We definitely want to put a better framework around that. So there's work being done in the first milestone, focusing on the authentication piece. And continue into milestone 2 around June timeframe. We're going to deliver authorization, role-based authorization for the product. And also additional security controls. For example, cross-site scripting will be prevented. That's one of the security holes we identified, which will be addressed in milestone 2. Further down the line, there's enhancement on the VM model. Today, the memory model aspect of the product is a little bit tricky. You will see in some of the scenarios in overcommitted servers, the VM shows overcommitted most of the time, which really cloudy the picture of what's red and what's yellow, right? So it's hard to make determination if most of the time it's red. So we're going to make some adjustment on the VM memory model, eliminates the sea of red issue right there, and of course continuous performance improvements. Moving to the last box on the bottom here, calendar year 15 milestone 4. It's a little bit unclear at this time. That's why the description is very high level. But what we know so far is one of the strategic initiatives from capacity management perspective of calendar year 2014 is to integrate with the CA's flagship monitoring product, which is NIMSOFT. You see a lot of traction from the press, like NIMSOFT Snap has gained 5,000 downloads in the first 100 days, right? That's a very popular product. So from capacity management product perspective, we always leverage on the underlying monitoring product to provide us with various infrastructure level information. So it's natural for us to have a tighter integration to our own flagship monitoring product, which is NIMSOFT. The aspect we are going to focusing on is the first on the front end. It will be leveraging either the JasperSoft or NIMSOFT's unified monitoring portal as a reporting interface. So you can imagine over time we're going to migrate to a single interface from reporting perspective. I know it's a directional statement, but at this time we're going to start the discovery very soon and plan to have a first phase deliverable by the end of the year in calendar year 15. So that's a milestone 4 release. One caveat there is in the first release, it's most likely won't have all the reports that you have today, like in current capacity reporter. But over time, it's our intention to close the gap. But by the end of the calendar year, this year, we should be able to see some fruit on the NIMSOFT integration front. And the one aspect is flexible reporting. The second aspect is what we call the data adapter integration. And from that perspective, storage is definitely one of the focal points here. NIMSOFT has extensive storage platform support covering EMC, NetApp, HDS, and IBM. So it's a domain knowledge we definitely want to leverage, and we'll see more in the last slides when we get into the storage capacity management discussion. The second bullet is simplified implementation and routine maintenance of CCC. Again, this is very high level because it's further out, 10 months out on the roadmap. We know as a directional statement, we have to make the deployment and the maintenance of capacity management solutions easier for our existing customers, especially larger customers. When they have a decent implementation over time, the data volume will increase, and the complexity of the number of users will increase as well. So how do you deal with that environment on a daily basis? Because the end goal is really to get the capacity management reporting down, get the modeling down. However, we found a lot of the time customers' administration work will eat up a lot of their daily time. So what we're trying to do here is to set a directional statement and figuring out the top priority items to work on to make the daily maintenance and the deployment easier for our service folks and customers. So that's really the second bullet. The third one is also an umbrella epic at this time. It's called Converged Capacity Management. We'll talk a little bit later on. But the goal here is really to look at the whole stack of the IT infrastructure plus the data center infrastructure as a whole from the capacity management perspective. One use case there is you might have budget and the cycle to get additional servers or storage, but if you run out of floor space or power and cooling, you will be hosed as well from a deployment perspective to ramp up new applications and supporting existing business growth. So really from a capacity planning perspective, you need to cover the whole stack, including the data center infrastructure. So we are looking at opportunities to integrate with CA's data center infrastructure management product, ECIM product, and figuring out how we can combine all dimensions of IT management from infrastructure to data center infrastructure management into a single pane of glass. So that's what's behind the converged capacity management. Again, it's a directional statement on the roadmap. The detailed feature will evolve over time. Last but not least, we know we have to deal with the data adapter updates. Here, we're talking about sustaining the current data adapter. We know the VMware just released 5.5 release, so we need to support that. This year, 5.5, there's some exciting new features, so we need to look into that. And from deployment perspective, a lot of large enterprise customers, they are looking at cloud as a choice. So most likely we'll have a hybrid environment for capacity management. So we're looking at supporting Amazon as a native deployment target in our capacity management domain. So supporting AWS as a data adapter is on roadmap for the milestone 4 release. So that is a quick overview about the calendar year 2014 roadmap. As I mentioned in the beginning, 2 releases, milestone 1 and milestone 2, will be in the first quarter and second quarter in March and the June timeframe. The milestone 4 release right now is targeting December timeframe because it's still far away. We don't know whether there will be a milestone 3 release or not around September timeframe. But at this time, we just put them all in the bigger bucket for the December timeframe. All right. So with that, I will go to next slide, focusing on the upcoming March release of the Marquee features. So in the previous slide, you already saw the title already. So here is just to give you additional details. On the capacity manager side, we did some performance enhancement, especially on the views. Today in Capacity Manager, when you access the data in Data Manager, the set of views are not optimized to leverage the partitioning and some of the enhancements we put into place. So this enhancement updated those views definition. Without getting new Capacity Manager release, those changes incorporated in the CCC VPM 2.4 should speed up your query and modeling process by default, especially when you have large data sets. The second feature we put in place is called interactive charting control or interactive charting navigation. You will see a demo on this feature later on, so I'm not going to dwell on this one. CCC training support is also a feature we already implemented for 2.4 release. Again, you will see a demo on this one. The combination of interactive charting navigation and training support really helped a lot of the navigation on the CCC chart today. The unified authentication is a feature we're working on right now. The current design principle is try to leverage the CCR as a central place for authentication and later authorization. CCR, a current capacity reporter, has the ability to leverage external LDAP-based directory for authentication, and we're going to leverage that as well. So imagine if you're an enterprise customer, you have your existing LDAP directory. You could leverage this unified solution for your security purpose, centrally manage the credential information. So that's also one of the much-needed feature for enterprise customers. From CCC perspective, CCC VPN today do not have any authentication and authorization in place, and that's what we want to address. And you will see the authentication piece implemented in the March release as a beginning. Last but not least is the enhanced partitioning support. We know for very large enterprise customers, they are moving to partitioning as a way to deal with ever-growing data volume. With partitioning, you can simplify your data management task, dropping partitions instead of deleting rows from the table, and also speed up the front-end queries because the less data needs to be queried, the faster the performance. So what we introduced in the 2.4 release is to give users the ability to migrate from a non-partitioned database to a partitioned database in a much smoother fashion. So the script, the partitioning migration script, will give users the ability to migrate one table at a time or all tables in one shot. This one table at a time gives customer the ability to choose the largest table to work on first, then maybe drop that table when they feel comfortable, thus achieving close to in-place migration as much as possible without 2x or 3x storage consumption. So there are definitely some planning work needed when you have a large existing database that needs to be migrated, and this script will help you to do that. We're also in the process of putting together some best practice documentation to guide customers through this migration process. The end goal is really to make sure you feel comfortable about the migration and you can implement the process smoothly. That's a quick overview about some of the Marquee features here. Then we're going to see some screenshots. This one is interactive charting navigation. As you can see, it's available in all time series charts, such as usage chart in CCC, optimization chart, and the BPM replay chart. I don't know whether you can read the fine print here, but we'll see a demo later on. A couple of ways to navigate. You can right mouse click or right mouse click and drag to enable this menu. The previous left mouse click drill down and hover to get tooltips are still there. So this chart is really enhanced to give you a lot of on-the-chart navigation capability. We'll see more of this in the real demo. And this one is the trending support. So a lot of people ask, how do I get a quick overview about a trend based on some linear regression algorithm, right? So that's what we added out of the box in CCC. So the algorithm used is the ordinary least square algorithm to calculate the trending based on the data points showing on the chart. So as you can see on the bottom, there's a trend checkbox. If you click on that, it will show you, based on the data points showing on the chart, what is the growth trend for your performance. It's supported on CPU, memory, network, and storage consumption, and it's also supported on both group level and server level chart. One nice feature we added is we allow the trending to go beyond the baseline endpoint into 90 days into the future. The 90 days right now is the arbitrary limit for now because most customers say they want to know the immediate future. And based on this interactive charting control, you can see right away how the trending grows for the next 90 days. So if there are any immediate needs, you can probably head off and put capacity on, into the infrastructure to avoid any overcommitment. So that's why 90-day is viewed as immediate need. Going beyond 90 days, you probably get into the modeling aspect. Then the linear regression probably is not enough. So that's one point we decided, 90-day out of the box, and for now. And it's open for recommendations and suggestions. So you will see, I mentioned the checkbox to enable trending. There's also another way to enable trending, which you will see in the demo, which is right-click, drag, select a period on the chart, and you can use that period on the chart as your baseline period for trending. And you will see there's two different colors on the chart for this trend line. There's the red line indicating the trending baseline. That's representative period you choose to generate that trend. And the orange line is the projection line into the future. So basically, that's your hypothetical line. So that's a quick overview about the trending support. That's going to be in the 2.4 release. And the other nice addition we added to the 2.4 release, it's a small one, but we believe it will help customers a lot, is on the chart. We used to show the absolute value of capacity and consumption in resource score. And most customers are more familiar or comfortable with the percentage value. And because it's missing, some customers have to get a calculator on the side to do manual conversion on the fly. So what we did in this release is to add the calculation as part of the tooltips. So when you hover over the area, whether it's in the VPN replay chart or the group level chart or individual server chart, you will see the percentage capacity or percentage utilization calculated for you. So you don't really need to do your conversion anymore. So a little bit nice enhancement here for usability. With that, I think I'll turn quickly to my live demo system. All right. So let's take a quick look at what's being implemented in the 2.4 release already. Again, as I mentioned before, the focus of this live demo will be on the interactive charting control and trending. So as you can see, I'm getting to my normal usage chart, and this is showing a little cluster for VMware. And let me reset to get into my baseline. So as you can see, I don't have too much data for my 90-day baseline window. I only have data for the probably most recent 2 weeks. So what I can do here, instead of changing the start date and end date on the bottom, as you're used to do, you can right-click, get the menu, and see, show me the current 2 weeks worth of data. That looks better. And you can also say, instead of showing me 2 weeks, really I want to get rid of the period where there's no data, right? So you can simply click and say, oh, I want to start the chart right here. And that will further expand the chart. And if you look at this chart, you can see, oh, there's some growth here, and it looks flat, but what does trend line look like if I want to focus in on a specific period from, for example, here? You can right-click and drag to enable an area and say, I want to zoom in to this selection period. Or I say I can trend to this selection. Either way, it will get into that specific period of time, and you can see trend. There's some little bit growth here based on the linear regression algorithm. And from here, you can say, I want to reset to my baseline period and see how does the trend look like. It will show you, here's the trending representative baseline. Here's how it looks like across the existing data baseline period. And if you want to see how does this trend look like going forward, you can move to right, or you can zoom out to get into the future. So let's move to the right first. And this is how it looks like, linear regression going into the future. And you can reset, and you can do zoom out, which will put the chart right in the middle and showing the historical baseline and trending moving out to the future. Again, the data itself is not that interesting because it's a scrubbed data. Internally, we use for testing purpose. But the gist of the feature is to give customers the ability to quickly navigate on this chart through a right-click and enable the trending or disable the trending right on the chart. Again, this feature will be made available across the board for both usage and optimization chart. For example, here, you can see, by the way, if you're focusing on any of the color band area, you can see the percentage calculated for you. For example, in this case, the good percentage is 88%, and the overcommitted is the 12% capacity. So there's some that's the added percentage for the charge. And you can drill down into this area and see the percentage as well from utilization perspective. And if you further drill down into the charge, and here you can right-click and drag and zoom in from there. So again, just want to show you the interactive charting control is made available across the board for all the time series charge. Let's quickly take a look at the VPM results. So I have a hypothetical placement already in place, and I solved it. So going into the placement replay, here is just a quick test. You have 3 systems, and click on either one of those will give you the consumption. As you can see, the percent utilization is added to this chart as well. And if you right-click, drag, move, and you can quickly navigate through any time period of your interest. I think that is a quick overview of the 2 important features, interactive charting control and trending in CCC. And I do have another system that has partially implemented the authentication. As you can see right here, it's probably not the right place to put root here, but root is the username. I logged in as root. The idea is to give the user an indicator of their username up front so they know who they are. And if you click on log out, it should bring you to the login screen of CCC. And you type in root, which is the default user for now. It should log you in and put root on the top. I know this is not the right place. This is the place we put the instance name, but at this time we just use a hard-coded place to put that. It will be changed in the final product. All right, I think that concludes the demo piece for today's webcast. I'll pause a little bit. Let's see what else do we have. Okay, let's move on to the storage capacity management discussion. So as I mentioned before, for our December, which is milestone 4 release for fiscal year, calendar year 2014, there are 2 strategic items that the capacity management team will focus on. The first one is the converged capacity management. This one really covers the whole stack from the IT infrastructure and data center infrastructure perspective. So looking at compute, storage, network, and data center power, cooling, and space as a whole, right? If you count the dimensions, there are really 6 dimensions here. And any dimension, if you run into a capacity issue, the project will be delayed and the service level will suffer. So how can we bring metrics, key metrics from various domains into a single pane of glass, help customer manage their capacity planning process, right? That's what we're trying to tackle with this epic. So there are a lot of ideas because currently we have capacity management focusing on compute, a little bit storage, a little bit network, very thin, and CAD/CIM product focusing on the data center power, cooling, and space aspect. So there are definitely opportunities for these 2 products to be integrated together, maybe present a view somewhere, maybe in NIMSoft. Again, it's further down the road, depending on what user interface we're talking about, to give customer that single pane of glass for their converged capacity management view. The second strategic item is NIMSoft integration. So as I alluded before, a lot of the details are still to be decided, but directionally, we know that the 2 aspects we're going to focus on is the front-end flexible reporting, leveraging the JasperSoft on NIMSoft Unified Monitoring Portal. And more importantly, we have to tap into the comprehensive probes already in place for NIMSoft. They're especially strong on the storage side. They have coverage for EMC, NetApp, HP, and IBM storage already. The deep domain knowledge is hard to replicate across all the teams. That's why we're trying not to be reinventing the wheel and leveraging the existing probes in place to cover the storage management. So that's really the directional statement for storage capacity management. The goal is to cover storage as part of the converged capacity management dimension, and the way to get into that coverage is through NIMSoft integration. So I'll pause a little bit. Let me take a look. Are there any questions on the chat?
Mike, I think you're going to have to do your demo over again. It didn't display.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I can do a quick demo again. Can I share my desktop?
Now you can see it. Yeah.
I'm really sorry. You must have sent me multiple texts. Okay, I'll run a quick demo. It's not a problem. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
All right. So let's go back. This will be a voiceover on the real demo. So as you can see, this is okay. Let's start from usage chart. So this is a 2.4 release in the lab. What we have is some data for the past 2 weeks. As you can see on this chart, we don't have data across the 90-day baseline. All we have is 2 week worth of data. So you may want to, right off the bat, right-click to see, I want to use the current mouse click point as the starting point. You set start date right here, and it will zoom into your most recent 2 weeks where you have data. As you can see, the bottom start date toolbox also changed with the right starting date. So instead of typing in stuff, you can just right-click and go to that place right away. The more important feature here is to right-click and drag. So as you can see, when you right-click with your mouse down, you drag, you selected a pink period of time. Now you have a couple of options to choose. You can either say, I want to zoom in to the current selection, and it will show you it's actually zoomed into the December 10th to December 13th, those 3-day periods. And you see, oh, there's is there a little bit growth here? Maybe, maybe not. Let's take a look at trending. If I enable the trending, it shows you the trending using this representative period of time going into the future. And you may want to see, oh, how does this trending look like across my whole baseline period, right? So you will reset, and you can see how the trend line looks like across your whole baseline period. And you may also want to say, oh, how does this trend line look like 90 days into the future, right? And this is a little bit, you can still see the trend here, trend line going into the future as a straight line linear regression. So the trend can be set either on the chart or by clicking on this enable, disable button. And right now the trend line is disabled. So if you hit reset, and you can enable it right here on this chart, or you can see disable it. And you can right click, zoom in. You can say, oh, for this period, I want to use this as a representative period. I want to trend to this selection, and it will show you the trend line right there. Also, let me remove the trend line and get into the baseline period. As you can see, one of the complaint is previously we only show the resource score in absolute value. And here we added the percentage, utilization percentage, 48% right on the chart when you mouse over it. So that's a little nice addition as well. The same feature on the charting control, navigation, and the percentage utilization is added to the optimization chart as well. So if you look at this optimization chart, you can do the same navigation control right on the chart. For example, you can drill in, show me that period of time for optimization chart. And you can focus in on any specific color band to see the percentage utilization. For example, the good percentage here is showing at 88%, and the overcommitted is 12%. And the same thing goes for the VPM chart. In the replay chart, you can reset to the baseline period and do a navigation right on the chart by right-click and zoom into the selection. And focusing on any resource consumption chart, it will show you the utilization percentage. In this case, you can see the utilization for December 9th is at 1 p.m. is 54%. So the theme here, as you can see, is to really help customer getting enough, key performance indicators right on the chart and being able to navigate through the chart without manually input the start date and end date and second guess whether I get the right baseline or not, or right representative period or not. By the way, this applies to CPU, memory, network, and storage, all dimensions. This chart, charting navigation functionality. I think the other aspect I demoed is the logout part. As you can see on this chart, this is a different instance we have in the lab. We have implemented the authentication piece, part of the authentication piece of the feature. Here, I logged in as root. It will show up, although this is not the right place to show up. This is the instance name. So right now I logged in as root. If I log out, it should bring me right into the Capacity Command Center CCC login screen. Type in root. It should bring me right in. All right, so that is today's live demo. And I'm going to stop sharing and go back to our presentation. So Mary, can you see the presentation now? Okay, let me take a look at the questions and answers screen. Okay, yeah, I saw a response. You can see the presentation. Oops, yeah, sorry, that's the message for not seeing the previous screen. Okay, that's good. There's a question on storage capacity management, whether it will be additional license cost. I think at this time it hasn't been decided yet. One aspect we are looking at is the packaging options we have, right? So especially when we go with the NIMSoft integration route, we have to be able to support that either as a standalone product within capacity management or as an add-on within NIMSoft. So there are different capacity, packaging, and go-to-market options that we are researching on right now. So it's to be decided. Let me take a look at the chat session, see whether there are any other questions I can answer. Will documents covering the presented current roadmap be made available? Yes, I think Mary will make this presentation, PDF version of this available right after this presentation. Just to give you a heads up, on the CA support website, we usually publish external roadmap and update every quarter. So you could go there to get the latest update as well. I think the most recent update will happen at the end of this month. So literally you get an advanced copy of the capacity management portion of the roadmap. Chris B, will any of these trend reports be exportable? Very good question. I think it depends on what you mean by exportable. So today we don't have the ability to export the trend report using spreadsheet. However, I think we do support HTML5 now on the chart, so you can print and you can I guess you can print from there. The chart will be printed out that way. The previous Flash-based implementation will not even allow you to print that out. From that perspective, I guess it's exportable. But again, we can talk offline to see what do you mean by exportable. It's not exportable through a CSV file yet, but it's at least it's printable from that screen, and you can copy it and save that as a screenshot and put that in your presentation. Let me quickly go through the chat session. All right, so I think that's the chat session questions. The last slide I have is just to give my marketing counterpart a quick plug here. There's some latest YouTube videos updated to reflect the use case demo, the public cloud sizing demo here, and hypervisor rationalization demo, focusing on the Hyper-V conversion use case. Those are made available externally on YouTube. You can take a look by clicking on the links here. You can search on YouTube. And also the CA.com capacity management product page is really a central location for all the external available assets for the product. I think Jeremy, my product marketing manager, recently had a good interview with the EMA analyst. There's some white papers available on the forest technology adoption curve on that external product page as well. Again, you can follow us on blog and Twitter. I think with that, I open up, turn that to either Jim or Mary, maybe open up the line for questions and answers.
At this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We will pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. And there are no questions at this time.
Let me take a quick look at the chat session to see whether there are any other questions I haven't answered.
Okay, Mike, thank you for presenting today. If anybody wants to see a replay of this or get the presentation, it will be posted on the Webcast archive, which is a category in the community message board. If you could take a moment to check off our poll, please, and we'll see you again in a couple months. Thank you.
And this does conclude today's call. You may now disconnect.